Good evening. My name is Brian W. Smith. I'm the award-winning best-selling author of more than 40 novels. But today, I'm not in writer mode. I'm putting on my interviewer cap, and I'm going to interview some of the industry's biggest names, people whom I've had the privilege, the honor of getting to know during my 20-year writing career. I created the Readers Want to Know podcast so that you, the reader, can get a glimpse into the personality of your favorite author. I want you to see a side of them that readers normally don't get to see. So I want you to sit back and enjoy the interview. That's what I want you to do. But first, I need you to do something for me. I need you to take a moment, click the like button. I need you to click the subscribe button. I need you to do it now, right now. I'll give you a couple seconds. You did it? Good. Let's start the interview. Hello, hello, hello. Once again, it's me, your boy Brian W. Smith, and I am here with another episode of the Readers Want to Know podcast, the podcast where readers get to dive all up into their favorite author's business. We ask them all kinds of questions about their careers, their journey, and at the end, we try to get a little personal and see if they're going to open up and let us know some things that normally they wouldn't reveal. Tonight's guest is an author whom I've known for years, but our paths don't cross that much. Although we started in this industry roughly the same time, around the 20-year mark. She is someone whom I've admired from afar. I've watched her go from a startup independent author, and now she has more awards than I can count. She's been a USA Today best-selling author. She's won Author of the Year with several organizations. She is someone who I have sat back and watched from afar and just was so impressed with not only the current moves that she's making, the things that I know that she has coming down the pipeline, but even more so, what I've been more impressed with is I got a glimpse into where she started way back in the day. So to see where she is now is just pleasing to my heart. Ladies and gentlemen, without further ado, I would like to welcome to the Readers Want to Know podcast, the sensational Iris Bolling. Iris, welcome to the show.
You know what? I'm gonna get you to introduce me all the time. Every time I go somewhere, I'm just gonna let you introduce me. Thank you
Well,
very much for that. I
thank,
appreciate it.
thank you for coming on. Thank you for coming on. We have tried to get this thing for a minute now,
For a minute.
but you're just so busy. You're just so busy these days. I had to take a number, folks. I had to take a
No,
number. She
yeah, see,
finally,
I
she
don't want
finally
you.
let me in.
You know what? All you had to, you did exactly what you need to do. You reached out to me directly. Once you reach out to me directly, I got you covered.
No
I
doubt,
got you
no
covered.
doubt. Well, welcome to the show once again. And I'm trying to figure out where to start. I
Okay.
want to, I want to start with the beginning of your journey. As I stated during the introduction, our paths crossed many, many moons ago.
Really early on.
Many,
Yeah.
many moons ago. 2005, 2006, up in there somewhere, hovering around that time frame.
Hmm.
And I know that you are from the Virginia area,
Richmond.
Richmond, if I'm not mistaken. And
Hey,
I think that may be
RWA.
where our paths first started when I went out there to meet with the book club.
You sure
And
did.
so I am curious. I've always wanted to know. I see your success right now as an author, but what were you doing prior to beginning this writing journey?
I worked for state government. I actually retired from state government. When this started really taking off, I retired from state government. I was working with, at the time I met you, I was working at the Department of Motor Vehicles. I was
Okay,
doing training. I was training those crazy people.
you were running people. You were having having people run off and off the side of roads and scaring you half to death on those driving
Oh,
tests.
Lord, I hope yes that those things does happen. People have no idea, but
Mm-hmm.
yes, those things do happen. And my job was to train people on how to handle those situations.
Mm-hmm.
So yes, do you ever get in a car with somebody that has a snake in the car?
No, no, no.
Okay, see,
That's
and they think it's okay to come take a driver's
mm-mm.
test with an animal in the car, any kind of animal,
You
doesn't
know, it's
matter.
interesting. There is I don't know if it's still running, but I recently ran across a TV show called DMV. It's a comedy.
Real, well, you know what? They was talking about. I have not seen it. I'm gonna be honest
Hmm.
with you,
Hmm.
but there was a TV show. I don't think it lasted
Yeah, I
long.
don't think it lasted long, but I thought the
No,
concept was funny because I would imagine that that's just a treasure trove of stories that can be told, like the one you just
oh my
mentioned.
God. Yes, you have no idea. You get into a car and there's no passenger seat.
Mm.
So how do you sit to conduct the driver's test? Stories could go on forever.
So,
So
so did you retire from Department of Motor Vehicles?
I did. I retired from the Department of Motor Vehicles. And remember, I didn't start writing until I was 50 years old.
Yeah, I was about to ask,
Yeah.
did you start writing? Like, was that a part of some master plan? Did you like a few years, a few months prior to your retirement, did you start working, or how did you get into this?
No, when I'm I'm gonna be blunt because you said people want to know about me. I actually was um got pissed at work.
Hmm.
It's this same old thing. They hired this person over top of me,
Uh-huh.
and I had been doing the job for 18 months. And then they asked me to train
I
that
was just
person.
about to say, let me guess, they asked you to train the person.
Then they want me to train that person. And it was just something in my soul that just said, no, you can't do this. So after they announced who got the position, and they called me and say, well, Iris, you didn't get the position, but we really would appreciate your help in getting, the person, I don't call the person's name, getting this person brought up to speed.
Hmm.
And I told him, I said, it's 11 o'clock. I suggest that you have somebody come over here by 12 because I'm gonna be gone. I'm
Hmm.
not gonna be here. Don't know when I'm coming back or if I'm coming back, but
Right.
I couldn't do it. It was just something to me. I just couldn't do it. So I went home, and I'm not gonna lie to you, Brian. After 3 days of being at home, I was so bored.
Hmm.
I was just bored, and I was getting on my son's nerve. There was nothing on TV. Our president at the time was the first George,
Hmm.
and I said, we got to do something about this president. My son got tired of me messing with him. He said, Mama, go to work or just go read. Go, because I was an avid reader. He said, oh, go write something. You always say you're going to sit down and write something. And I did. I started writing the Heart series.
Mm.
And at the time, it wasn't crazy about the president that we had. So I decided I was going to create my own president.
Gotcha.
And I sit down, and in those 2 weeks that I was home, I wrote like 800 pages.
That's crazy.
It was crazy. It was really, really crazy. But what made me go back to work was once I wrote that, and I really felt like I let a friend of mine's read it, and she said, you really need to do something with this.
Hmm.
And that's when I decided, okay, got a new plan now. So I went back to work, but I went back to work with a purpose.
Right.
And the purpose didn't have anything to do with what was going on at work. I was like 25, 20 some years in to state service. I was going to finish my service. I was going to get my retirement,
Right.
but the plan was totally different
Yeah.
from that point on. And
You
I
know,
went back with the purpose.
I there are a lot of parallels between your story and mine. So I
Mm-hmm.
was doing the corporate shuffle, and make a very long story short, the recession hit in 2009, 8, 9, up in there somewhere.
Mm-hmm.
And
Underneath of George.
I got laid off from, a very lucrative job.
Mm-hmm.
And I was so pissed by the way it was done, the tacky way in which it was done,
Mm-hmm.
that I vowed that I would not go back into corporate America again. And that all the energy that I had put into helping that Fortune 500 company continue to grow, that I would take my work ethic and my little degrees, and I would pour it into me. The
Mm-hmm.
point I'm trying to make is this, is that what I learned from all of that after I stopped being mad, um, I had a light bulb moment, and that
Mm-hmm.
moment was what I learned was that sometimes God will yank our safety nets from under us
Yes.
so that we can go do what we're really supposed
What
to
you're
be
supposed to
doing.
be doing.
And
Isn't
it
that the
sounds
truth?
like even with your situation, once you get certain jobs, you start making certain salaries, you become comfortable. Because I can tell you, if
Yes.
I hadn't been laid off with the perks and the salary, I wasn't going to quit that job. It made no sense, right? Um, but God has a way of pushing you out the nest and getting you to where you're calling or where you're supposed to be. And it sounds like that's kind of what happened with you.
It was. If that situation hadn't happened, when you go to work, you go to work every day to a 9 to 5, and you say it's routine. It's what you do. You don't have no rhyme or reason other than to keep the roof over top of your head, put food on the table, take care of your needs, right?
Right.
Well, when I went back, that wasn't even the thing anymore. Yeah, I was making decent money.
Mm-hmm.
I was making decent money, for what I did, but I earned so much more because now I was taking that energy that I was putting into that company,
Yes.
into the government, and I put that energy in myself.
Mm-hmm.
Just like you said, that's what you did when you came out. You
Mm-hmm.
took your energy, you took your knowledge, your skills, you took all of that and you invested it in Brian, and look at what you did.
Yeah.
You
I
know?
think I think that I think that at the end of the day, although we may not like how our career sometimes is jump started by circumstances, when you look back on, you recognize that there are no coincidences, there are no accidents. It
Yes.
happened the way it was supposed to happen. I want to I want to pivot real quickly and ask you a question, author to author.
Hmm.
There's something that I noticed in your writing. Um, I noticed that you write a lot of series.
Hmm.
You seem to stay away from the standalones. I may be wrong, but that's just the way it appears.
Hmm.
What's your thought process behind that?
To be honest with you, when I first, the 800 pages that I wrote,
Right,
it turned out to be the first two books of my series.
right.
And I didn't know I was writing a series. I was just sitting down and I was just writing and those stories. And once I wrote those two stories and I separated them into two books, it seemed like the path was just open. I mean, the path was just open from those two books. We ended up with 9 books in that series. And before we even got to that, I had 3 other series that was starting.
Right.
Did it ever occur to me that I was doing series, or I set out to do series stories? No. I do have some standalones out there. Not many though. But I do have standalone, but even the standalones seem like they eventually turned into
A
a
series.
series because
Right.
my secondary characters, um they really shine, and then
Mm-hmm.
people want to know, okay, well, what happened with Joshua? We really liked Joshua wasn't even a secondary character.
Mm-hmm.
It was like just another character in the story, and people loved that character so much
Mm-hmm.
that they requested, we want to know about more about Joshua, about this
Mm-hmm.
one or about that one. So my stories are really people driven,
Yeah.
they're character
That-
driven.
yeah, that's what I was just thinking as you were
Yeah.
talking. I think the lesson in this for those who are aspiring writers, and even those who have already dipped their toe into this water, you have two types of novels out there. You have two types of writers, or books, I should say. You have character-driven books, and you have plot-driven books.
Right.
I, I am
Right.
I am someone I write a lot of stand-up. I do have a series, but it's like I don't I pour so much and there's so much thought that goes into that. I don't have the bandwidth to have as many series. I just, I
Mm-hmm.
don't have as much to say. I am someone who tackles a plot, and once I'm finished with that plot, I'm through with that book. So I
And
write a lot of
see,
standalones.
I am my stories are character driven.
Right. And that's why,
That's
and that's why you have so many series.
that's why, because my characters, I didn't know this is just the way that it turned out, but
Hmm.
my secondary characters are always have a life of their own.
Hmm.
And it's to a point where once they're introduced into the series, into the story, people want to know more about that character. And
Right.
I even get that now. Like I said before, I'm about to celebrate my 50th book,
That's a
and
beautiful
I
thing.
still have
Congratulations.
people. And thank you very much. And I have like 6 different series out there,
Hmm.
and everyone is waiting. Well, when are you going to write this one story? Well, when is this one story going to come? And da 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 da. And I try to make sure as I do my writing schedule for the next year, I try to make sure try to hit each one of those series. But sometimes that's not what's on the heart.
Hmm.
Sometimes you
Hmm.
have to get away from those series and go write something different or something else.
Do you ever
Um,
write? Are you ever writing um, the different series simultaneously?
yes. And do I have crazy people talking to
Yeah,
me?
I was about to say, how does
Yes.
that work in your head?
Yes, because because my stories are character driven. They are constantly up there playing around in my mind. Even with this story that I'm writing now, I'm still have another. I use Scrivener when I'm writing,
Hmm.
so I still have another um, book up where I'm putting in whatever came to my mind while I'm writing this one, just so that I know it'll be there, so
Hmm.
I can have multiple stories, be working on multiple stories, at the same time.
Well, that's a perfect segue to something I wanted to ask you about the Next Generation series,
Mm-hmm.
because you have a new book coming out, but it's tethered to the very first series you did put out, the Heart series. Tell
Yes.
us about the book in the Next Generation series that is connected to your original series.
Well, the next generation is actually the children of the main characters that's in the Heart series. The Heart
Hence
series.
the title Next Generation.
Next generation. So those
Hmm.
children are now growing into their own, and because everyone was so um, in tune with these families that I created in the Heart series, these couples that found their love interest in the Heart series, they watched the children grow up while these couples was coming into what their life is supposed to be, their purpose in life. Well,
Hmm.
now these children are kind of they're coming of age, and I
Gotcha.
kind of call the Heart series is the next generation is kind of like a coming of age
Right.
of these 4 young men, who are the sons of those main characters from the Heart series. The crazy thing is, because my that whole series is a political has a political backdrop. Um, these young men find themselves in a very unique situation. They are sons of the President of the United States, the Attorney General of the United States, and then um, another one is the son of one of the protection detail,
Hmm.
that's on the President's protection detail.
Right.
Detail, and one is the Chief of Staff's son. So these kids have grown up in this bubble, in this bubble, and they've watched what their parents has gone through, through the political realm. And now it's interesting to see what fields they decide to go into, how their
Hmm.
lives
Are evolving.
continue. Some continue in the light of what their fathers are doing, and some go into a different direction. So the second generation is actually just it's the children of the people from the Heart
Heart
series.
series. Do
Yeah.
you do you have a political science background, or does this series did it force you to dive deeper into
Oh
politics?
Lord. Politics is such a crazy thing to talk about right now. Um, I have always been involved in politics. Um,
Hmm.
I have worked the polls. I have Um, my son is in politics. My daughter-in-law is a
Okay.
delegate here in Virginia. She won her race
All
Tuesday
right.
night
That's what's
again.
up. Congratulations.
Yeah. Um, and my son right now, I cursed him. I did. He is the executive director of the Democratic Party here in Virginia. So politics is a part of our life.
Right.
We have been very, very active. So writing things that has to do with politics is not
A
hard for me.
stretch for you. It's not a
No,
stretch for you. Mhm.
not at all. It's not a stretch. I've been behind political campaigns for God, my son. No, I'm telling my age. My son just turned 40, so at least 30, 35 years.
Mhm.
Because I used to take him to the polls with me when he was younger. So I've been in that
Well,
realm.
you write what you know, right? I mean,
You write what you
what you
know.
know, right?
But the same thing with that, I've worked in government
Right.
for a number of years as well. And on top of that, it's just um, I've worked in banking. So my series are things that are based off of
Your life experiences.
life experience. Life experience.
Do
So it
you
was
have a series that so I write a series called Sleepy Cauldron Mysteries. It doesn't
uh-huh.
matter what it is I do. I call that my literary baby.
Uh-huh.
With so many series under your belt, which one is your literary baby?
You know what, Brian? I'm gonna say this. I have so many favorite stories
Mm-hmm.
that I've written, but there is one that just and it's called One Spark of Magic, and it is my standalone.
Mm-hmm.
It's my standalone, believe it or not.
Ironically. Mm-hmm.
That's the one. That's the standalone, and I can sit back and read that story over and over and over and over and over again. And even though I write it, I still find joy
Mm-hmm.
in reading it. I I have characters that are they just stay with me. They're just my heart.
Right.
So I have that. But if you ask me what's that literary one, um, it's that one. And
Is
the
that one?
the other one um is News with Curves because I stepped into a different genre
Mm.
with News with Curves, and I really went into um an area that a lot of people found strange. So I had to do a lot of PR when I was going to release that book. I did PR on that book, letting people know, hey, I'm gonna be doing something a little different here.
Right.
So I did PR on that book for about a year before I released it because it was different.
Do you
So
find your releases and your decision what to write is dictated by the fans, or are you operating on your own flow, on your own time, um, and people just have to deal with your process?
I
I
think
guess what I'm asking is, do sales and success dictate the order?
no, no.
Okay,
When I sit down and I do a story, it's because that's what's next.
gotcha.
And I'm a pantser, by the way. I don't plan, you know.
Right.
Um, but I know that's what's next. So I'm gonna do, what's coming next. Now, if my readers say, you know, Iris, we really really want a book on Winnie. Winnie is the mother of my banking series,
Mm-hmm.
and I said I know, but
I
she's not
know.
next.
I know, but she's not next.
She's not next. She's not next. So I know what's next, and that's basically what I go with. I'm blessed because my base of readers are just they're awesome. They're
Right.
awesome, and they will wait. They will wait. They have fussed the whole time, but they say, okay, we know you're gonna get to it, and they will wait.
But that's a testament to your consistency. That's a testament to your consistency and, as a result, your longevity. So I think that that's admirable. And that's what we all strive for. When you can
Yeah.
reach a point where your readers give you grace because they know the wait is worth it. That's a
Indeed.
beautiful thing. I want to I want to pause right there,
Okay.
and I am going to share my screen because I'm going to pull up my nosy wheel.
Okay.
Can you see my screen, Iris?
No, it's black for me. Wait, I see you up here, but not down at the main thing. So I'm still seeing you.
You still see me?
Yep, I still see you. There it is. I see it now.
You see my nosy wheel?
I see your wheel. What we gonna do with this wheel, Brian?
I'm about to get all up in your business.
Okay.
I'm about, I'm about, I'm about to get all up in your business. We're about to ask you some questions that readers been wanting to know. I finally got you on here. Don't think I'm not gonna ask, right?
Listen, I'm open. So whatever you come up with, let's see what you got.
All right. So
All right.
I'm about to spin this wheel, and let's see where it lands.
Okay.
Iris, readers want to know what's your favorite movie of all time?
Pretty Woman.
Pretty Woman.
Yeah, I love Pretty Woman. I don't ask me with Julia Roberts, and
Mm-hmm.
it's just something about that movie. I can almost repeat it word for word for word with you, but Pretty Woman
Pretty Woman is what it is, huh?
is what it is.
I hear you. Let's see what else we got here.
Okay.
What is your biggest pet peeve?
People without manners.
And you worked at the DMV?
Yes, that's why it's my pet peeve. The thing about working for the general public like that is when they coming to you, they need something.
And they
They
come with
need some.
attitude,
Don't come in here cursing at me and think that you're gonna get it.
huh?
I have had moments where I would just sit there, stand there, and I just wait. And they said, "Well, aren't you gonna say something?" As soon as you ask me a question, you know,
And stop yelling at me.
yeah. So, okay, so far this is okay, Brian.
All
This is
right.
okay.
Readers want to know what was your most embarrassing moment as an author?
Most embarrassing moment. Hmm. Most embarrassing moment. I don't. As an author, I can't say. Um. I have one for you. I
What's
have one
that?
for you. I'm independent author, right?
Right.
You know this.
Mm-hmm.
So when we go to places, I usually have to bring my books with me. I have to bring um my
Swipe.
well, actually at that time it was square.
Square. Mm-hmm.
Yeah, my little square thing. I had to bring that with me. The thing about bringing it with you though is you have to know how to use it. You know,
Fact.
you have to
When you
know
got a
how
lot
to
of
use
people,
it.
right?
Yes. And what's embarrassing is when the customer has to come around and say, "No, Iris, you do this and you do this and you do this and you do this."
Mm-hmm.
And then she turned around and go back in front of me and she
Mm-hmm.
said, "Okay, my total is 800 is $84 and some because she was buying books.
Mm-hmm.
$84 and some cent." And I said, "You know what? I gotta give you a 50% discount because you did all the
Right. You
work.
did all the work.
You did all the work."
You know,
So
I have one of those I had one of those square moments. I learned a valuable lesson. I don't remember where I was.
uh-huh.
With that square, you can either swipe
Or you could,
or you can put the number in. The
yes,
problem with the swiping is that it's only as good as the internet connection in the place you were at.
true,
So
true.
you get to swiping 2 or 3 times and it's not registered as a sale. I remember someone got very mad at me because they thought I swiped their card like 5 times, right?
Oh,
So what I
yeah.
just started doing was
Whew.
basically everyone. I just ditched the whole the little
You
plug
just
and swipe thing.
wanted.
I ditched it, and I just got real proficient at typing people's credit card. Whatever. Sometimes I give them the phone and say, "Put your credit card number in it," whatever. Right. So
Yep.
yeah, you gotta. That can be very when you have a line of people and you're stumbling
Yes.
over that sale.
Yes.
That's not a good look at all.
It was not a good look, but luckily that customer, she was precious. She came around there and she said, "No, Iris, this is what you do." And she did that thing. She did that thing and then went right back around. Okay. That
All
was
right,
that was embarrassing.
Iris, readers want to know: have you ever had a book flop that you thought would be a hit?
Um,
And flop is a
no.
strong word. Maybe I should replace that with it just didn't sell as well
It
as you
didn't
thought it
do
would.
as the book that one of the books I just mentioned to you, News with Curves. Um, it was changing me from romance to suspense. It
Mm-hmm.
was it was that bridge book.
Mm-hmm.
And at the time, even though I did a whole year of PR, say, hey, this is gonna be something different, it's gonna be something different. It did not drop the way that I thought it would. It did well, but it did not drop the way that I thought it would.
Mm-hmm.
However, since the books that have come after that, it has been, that was 10 years ago. Now it's being picked, it's
Yeah, people
continuously
go back
being
and read
picked
your
up.
backlist, right?
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. And that's the other thing. My backlist is still very current. People are still buying.
Right. What you learn is that it doesn't matter how long you've been here. There's still someone who hasn't read you.
Someone hasn't read you and they're going to come and they're going to get one book, and the prayer
Mm-hmm.
is that they're going to go and they say, okay, wait a minute, that was pretty good, let me go grab another one,
Have you ever had this experience? Though I know I have. So I am not at 50 books. I think I'm at something like 42, 43. I told
uh-huh.
you, like I look up to you. You've been running laps around people like me.
Oh,
I
I don't think so. You've been out there doing your thing now.
um
I'm still remembering the cover with the table with the boss. I think it was called the boss.
yeah, boss.
I fell in love with that cover. I did. I
Yeah.
did.
But ironically, that would be a series. It's so interesting you should mention Boss, and we're talking about series. So Boss, I love that series
Mm,
because it was about a guy who owned a publishing company,
mm-hmm.
and he had four kids. He was ready to retire, and they all wanted to be the new boss. And it was a
Right.
series. But something happened that was beyond my control, and this kind of it's like a snapshot of how this business can work. At the same time I drop Boss, the television show Empire comes out,
Of course.
right?
Right.
I love the Boss series. I had 4 or 5 books lined up. After it came out, and although it dropped before Empire went, the sitcom started, probably 3 or 4 months before the sitcom came out, Empire became so popular that I would see reviews that would say he trying to be like Empire. And I'm screaming at the review like I came out before Empire, right? So I actually stopped that series because
Oh,
I didn't feel like the timing was terrible. The timing was terrible, so
but
I
you
stopped.
know, Brian, what I would say to that, because I have a number, I teach, I do workshops on writing,
Mm-hmm.
and I have a number of people who would say to me, "Was somebody has took my idea?" They may have the same idea, but they can't tell your story.
Mm-hmm.
They may have the exact same thing happening
Mm-hmm.
in there, but you have Brian's voice,
Mm-hmm.
and Brian's voice is
Mm-hmm.
going to tell that story, and that's what's going to make it Brian's story.
Yeah,
I
you're
don't
right.
care how many other, there's no topic or no thing that we can talk about that hasn't been written about
Right.
by
Nothing new under the
somebody.
sun. You're right.
But that's your take. Those are your experiences. Those are your feelings. That's going to go into Brian's story.
And you know
So,
what? So I guess that was probably a decade ago,
mhm.
right? I'm a different writer now, and I'm a more confident writer. But at
Right,
the
right,
time, I remember thinking, although my book is about a a publishing mogul, and Empire
right.
is about the music industry, there were so many parallels that I just could not get out of the criticism that I was copying that show. So I mean, I had so many other things going on. I just put it on the back burner. But it's so interesting that we're having this conversation because
About
I've
boss.
recently
Yeah.
thought a lot about knocking the dust off and just and re-releasing it and doing it again.
I
Because
think I
I'm
think
a
you sh
different person now.
I think you should because no one can tell Brian's story
Hmm.
about the balls. No one can tell that story like you can
Hmm.
because that's Brian's take on
Hmm.
that story, and your experience is going to go in there.
No
So,
doubt.
but I for the book that when I put it out, News with Curves, that was the book that didn't quite fall the way that I wanted it to.
Hmm.
However, now I'm really fortunate to say I don't really have a book in my catalog that I don't see sales from.
Got you.
And that is something I'm so thankful for my readers because, like you said, there's always somebody. I haven't broken internationally,
Hmm.
yet. I'm still, trying to figure out how the hell do you do that,
Right,
you
right.
know. But I have to say I've been really blessed with that.
Well, I have to say I've been blessed by having you on this show.
Oh, thank you.
I am so happy that we finally got around to doing this, and I
Yeah.
just want to give you your flowers. I am so
Oh,
impressed by you and
oh,
all that
thank
you're
you.
doing, and I thank you for carving out some time to come hang out with me for a few minutes. It's really been a pleasure. And I know the readers, your fan base and supporters, they're going to love it. But more importantly, I think that there are people who may not have checked out your work after actually getting to see your personality. Um, they're going to go out and check you out, and I'm pleased. I'm
Oh.
pleased with that.
Well, I have to tell you, like you, I've been watching you from afar, as well. We don't our paths don't cross.
Hmm.
They don't cross. But I have to tell you, I have admired what you have been doing. And
Thank
so
you.
I'm gonna say thank you for what you do.
Thank
And
you.
thank you for allowing me to be a part of your day to day.
No
Thank you for
doubt.
that.
I appreciate you, and I will
Sure.
continue to be a fan, even if our paths don't cross as much as they used to. You have a fan in me. So thanks
Oh.
again, ladies and gentlemen. That was the incomparable Iris Bowling. I hope that you enjoyed this interview. Make sure you go and click the like button and share and become a follower of the podcast. If you go back and look in the history, I'm trying real hard to tap into that Rolodex and bring you um, the readers, bring the readers the authors that I know they want to see. So once again, Iris, thank you for coming on. This has been another episode of the Readers Want to Know podcast. And until we meet again, I want you to stay blessed, stay safe, and keep reading. Well, there you have it, folks. I hope you enjoyed the interview. Tune in next time when I give you a behind the scenes sort of glimpse into the personality of another one of your favorite authors. Until we meet again, I want you to be safe and keep reading.